These disturbing stories from Ohio will prove that America is haunted, starting with the Thurber House in Columbus, Ohio. James Thurber lived in the house from 1913 to 1917, and during his time there, he suffered from various health issues, including a detached retina, which left him almost blind. In 1915, Thurber's brother, William, passed away in the house due to complications from a burst appendix. Currently, the Thurber House is a museum dedicated to the American author and cartoonist who lived there and even experienced ghostly encounters of his own. But centuries ago, the property was built on traces of the Ohio Lunatic Asylum, specifically near the State of Ohio Asylum for the Insane Cemetery. Now, in 1868, the Ohio Lunatic Asylum burned down and the land was divided into 3 residential parts, one of which later became the Thurber House. People who visit the house say they've seen books flying off the shelves and heard footsteps on the back staircase, as well as doors creaking and doors opening and closing on their own. While there's rumors some of the ghostly activity is Thurber, others wonder if it's the distressed spirits from the psychiatric hospital that used to be on the grounds. Licking County Historic Jail in Newark, Ohio. At least 22 confirmed fatalities happened at Licking County Jail, which opened in 1889, and it's said to be one of the most haunted places in Ohio. The 3 sheriffs and 19 inmates who met untimely demises at the jail are thought to be some of the source of most of the building's ghostly activity. There are reports of disembodied voices calling out, cell doors slamming shut on their own, plus sounds of footsteps and kind of jingling keys. It was built in 1889 and operated until 1979. And during its 90-year run, it housed thousands of inmates, all for various crimes, of course. The jail witnessed numerous tragic events, including riots resulting in fatalities, escapes, and even executions. The traumatic energy from these events have had a lasting residual energy that's felt throughout the whole prison. The jail has been investigated by numerous paranormal teams, including ghost hunters and ghost adventures. They've captured evidence of paranormal activity, including audio and video recordings of just unexplained phenomena. Some visitors even say they've had someone whisper in their ear and seen shadowy figures accompanied by, strange lights. If you'd like to visit, you can. They offer guided tours, so if you're brave enough, go for it. The Ridges at Ohio University in Athens, Ohio. The 700-acre property was originally the site of the Athens Lunatic Asylum, opening in the 1800s, built exactly in 1874 for the purpose of providing care and treatment to the mentally ill. The asylum eventually closed down, and the vacant land and buildings transferred to Ohio University around 1993. Because the conditions many patients at the asylum endured, many people believe that their restless spirits haunt the buildings that make up the Ridges. Now, in addition to the uneasy feelings, visitors also report hearing screams, rattling door handles, and figures that seem to vanish in thin air. More spooky encounters can actually be found by hiking the area. Now, basically, one of the trails leads to the Ridges Cemetery, where visitors actually say they encounter the graves of patients from the asylum. There have been numerous tragic events that have taken place here, including, a lot of patients passing. Many fatally passed due to just poor living conditions, inadequate treatments, as well as tragic accidents. In the early 20th century, a tuberculosis outbreak swept through the asylum, claiming the lives of almost everyone there. And in 1936, a devastating fire ravaged the asylum's administration building. The building is actually still open to the public for tours and paranormal investigations. The Hackett Hotel in Marietta, Ohio. Built in 1899, this hotel has reported numerous ghost sightings throughout the building. While overnight guests report seeing, spectral figures, it's nothing compared to the presence that haunts the Galley restaurant. Now, housed in the old Hackett Hotel, the Galley is, basically it's a restaurant known for its food and atmosphere in the heart of historic Marietta. It was built in 1899, and the building was a popular local spot for decades. and was renovated in the 1980s into another restaurant, at which point the ghosts made themselves very known, and the ghostly activity has continued, from bottles crashing to the floor, glasses flying off shelves, and chairs screeching across empty rooms. The spectral incidents are so frequent, many staffers have actually come to believe it's the work of the same ghost, one that they actually named Charlotte. The Franklin Castle in Cleveland, Ohio. Starting in the 1960s, people reported flickering lights, sound of crying babies, and even the ghostly image of a woman in black, who some believe is the ghost of Hans Tiedeman's wife, Louise. Now, Hans Tiedemann was a wealthy German immigrant who built the home between 1881 and 1883, but his wife, Louise, passed in the house in 1895. He actually lost many of his family members in the house, including his own daughter. Hans passed himself under very mysterious circumstances in 1908, with some even speculating that he might have been assassinated. The building wasn't accessible to the public for years, but was recently converted into a haunted attraction. So you can now actually book an overnight stay at Franklin Castle, but be on the lookout for its guests who also roam the halls of this historic spot. People have claimed to have heard whispers, screams, banging, doors opening and closing, of course, on their own, lights flickering, objects moving on their own, and legend also has it that Hans built hidden rooms and secret passages within the mansion and may have even hid a treasure, although it's said to be cursed. Collingwood Arts Center in Toledo, Ohio. Now, the Collingwood Arts Center is not only one of the oldest buildings in Toledo, but it's also considered one of the city's most haunted places. The Collingwood Arts Center is a registered historical site, once home to a convent. Now, past supernatural sightings include orbs being seen and photographed throughout the facility. There's also a rumor the basement is haunted by the ghost of a nun who passed away down in its depths. Now, unsurprisingly, there has been, ghostly sightings of other nuns throughout the building. Both a friendly and oppressive presence have been ascribed to the different specters who haunt the hallways and the attic. Now, there's even been reports of piano music being played late at night. The Arts Center offers ghost tours, allowing visitors to explore the building and experience the alleged paranormal activity. While the tour is spooky, it does not include jump scares, and VIPs can actually gather for, light snacks and drinks tastings and have access to equipment to borrow, so give it a visit. South Bass Island Lighthouse in Put-in-Bay, Ohio. Now, visitors to the lighthouse report creepy footsteps, slamming doors, and unexplained noises coming from the lighthouse. Eerily, the origin of one notable ghost, thought to actually haunt the building is a century-old mystery. Prior to a smallpox outbreaks in 1898, Sam Anderson had been hired to look after the island lighthouse. Now, when police went to check on Anderson and make sure he hadn't left the quarantine area, they discovered his body at the bottom of a cliff near the lighthouse. Samuel Anderson's demise was ruled actually a self-inflicted tragedy, yet rumors circulated of a more evil demise. Some believe he'd been pushed and his restless soul was doomed to haunt the lighthouse. The basement where Samuel Anderson lived is a focal point of the alleged hauntings, with some believing his spirit lingers there. States that some people state as well that the lighthouse is one of the most haunted must-see places in Ohio. Riders Inn, located in Painesville, Ohio. So the hotel, which dates back to 1812, was originally built as a stagecoach stop along the Oregon Trail. Now, later it served as a station to basically the Underground Railroad and a speakeasy in the 1920s. Now, the hotel's storied past offers guests a very unique chance to kind of embrace Ohio's history during their stay. Riders Inn was built by Elias Pryor, who was a local prominent farmer. Many believe that Pryor's spirit still roams the inn, watching over his former home. Its most notorious ghost is Suzanne, who's the late wife of the hotel's owner, who passed shortly after their wedding. She's actually been seen throughout the property, and some accounts mention her coming to the hotel door in her nightgown, where she proceeds to let guests inside, if the hotel owners, of course, aren't around. Also, according to legend, a young girl passed in the inn as well, and her spirit remains often seen playing or running through the halls as little kids would. Now, there's been lots of reports of guests seeing ghostly figures, hearing unusual noises, and some have speculated that because the inn's location is actually built on Native American land, that might contribute to the paranormal activity as well. The inn to this day will host various events such as, mystery dinners, ghost-themed parties, and paranormal conferences. So it's a must-visit destination if you're a ghost enthusiast, history buff, or just looking for a really unique experience should you find yourselves in Painesville. The Ohio State Reformatory in Mansfield, Ohio. Once serving as a state prison, the Ohio State Reformatory housed more than 150,000 inmates throughout its time. This haunted Ohio prison, which is also called the Mansfield Reformatory, has just led to several ghost sightings. Today at the Ohio State, Reformatory, there were several types of paranormal events that have happened. And there's also events that are available for visitors looking to experience its haunted history firsthand. Now, otherworldly presences, at the Ohio State Reformatory include a guard making his round and a shadow person in a former administrative office area on the 3rd floor. Visitors also say they experience strong energy and very unsettling emotions, which is attributed to, the more than 200 people, including 2 guards, who actually passed away in the prison. Lastly, we have the Majestic Theatre in Chillicothe, Ohio, known as America's oldest continuously operating theater. Now, the Majestic Theatre has been screening into the hearts of film fans since 1853. The restored Masonic, Opera House offers live comedy, movie nights, special events, and a few ghosts as well. The Majestic Theatre is actually said to be haunted due in large part to its use as a temporary morgue during the Spanish flu epidemic that swept through nearby, Camp Sherman in 1918. Now, bodies were stacked in the dressing rooms beneath the stage as a holding place until they could be embalmed on the stage, basically. Now, the ghost of a little girl appears to haunt this very historic theater. Past paranormal investigations have actually captured her presence on audio recordings, but she's not the only ghost in this haunted place. Visitors have also reported a very unsettling presence in the hallway and a man dressed in a suit and tie. He's been spotted actually walking up the aisles towards the stage. Which haunted spot in Ohio have you visited or maybe want to visit? Let me know. Thanks for watching. I'm your host, Ashley. Until next time, stay scared. The Perrin family's haunted farmhouse. Ed and Lorraine investigated the Perrin family's farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island, which was allegedly haunted by evil spirits. The Perrin family, including Roger and Carolyn Perrin and their 5 daughters, moved into a farmhouse in Harrisville in 1971, where they claimed to experience a series of paranormal events. The family reported seeing apparitions, hearing strange noises, and experiencing poltergeist activity, including objects moving and beds levitating. On August 22, 1973, Ed and Lorraine captured footage of Carolyn Perrin, the family matriarch, allegedly becoming possessed by an evil spirit. The footage shows Carolyn's eyes rolling back, her voice changing, and her body contorting in unnatural ways. Andrea Perrin, the oldest of the Perrin children, said, "These were spirits who had an attachment to the property. 8 generations of one extended family had lived and passed at the farm, and some of them had never left."